Assalamu alaikum. This is Fazza Reza from Nifty Sphere Institute of Art and Design. I am a fine arts instructor here and head of fine arts department. I teach and give my skills about different kind of categories of arts. It includes sketching, drawing, painting, sculpture and ceramics and other kinds of and categories of arts that has been practicing in Pakistan. Today I am going to give you the lecture and give you the tutorial on the kinds of shading we have and the kinds of shading we practice. First of all, I will be giving you the basics about the pencils shades we have. You can use any kind of company, but there are some good companies around us which has good graphite pencils and good stuff and material also. In pencil shading, first that we need to learn, this is the very basics of the drawing, this is the very basics of the arts. That first that we need to focus is all the drawing, about the drawing perspectives, the volumes, and when it comes to the shading, it's all about values, darks and lights and shadows. And for achieving that purpose, for achieving darks and lights in our subject, for achieving shadows in our subject, and for creating the values of that particular subject that we are going to draw, we use different kind of pencils. It includes graphite. We call them graphite pencils or shading pencils. They have multiple shades in it. Like it starts from H like it is H, 2H, 4H. The number when it gets increases, the graphite gets more lighter and hard. And when it increase in B shades, like it increase from B to 2B, 4B, 6B, 8B, the pencil gets more softer and darker. That's how we recognize and that's how we use different shades of pencils in our arts. Like if it is H and it becomes and increase in the number of H, like 2H, 4H, 6H, the pencil becomes darker and harder. And when it comes and increases in the B shades pencils, like B towards 2B, towards 6B, 4B and other increased number till 10B, it gets more darker, and the lead of the pencil, this is the lead of the pencil, it gets softer. And there are other shading and sketchings also, like we use different kind of pencil colors. We use different kind of colored graphite pencils that may be brown, that may be red, yellow, what other color you like to use in your drawing. That is also preferred to get the more softer pencil, because the more softer pencil you will have, it would be more easier to handle and it would be easy for you to achieve the darks and lights of the particular subject. So now I am going to give you the particular demo on this subject. This is the sculpture one of my students made here at Nifty Sphere. So I have a good light in this room and this subject itself is darker and grey in color. So I'll be drawing it and I'll be doing the hatching today, because one of my lectures is already on the YouTube about the realistic shading we use. I will be introducing the different kinds of shading we have, but in particularly I will be making this subject in hatching specifically. So I'll be starting now. Alright, so here I have a lot of sketching pencils. Like I more than have B pencils, B shading pencils, and they are more darker and softer. So for the shading purpose, I'll be using 2B pencil. It's a little much lighter and softer. So let me first explain you guys the kind of shadings we have, the kind of shadings we use in our terms. First we have hatching, or we call it line shading as well. This is kind of an abstract shading that I will be using in today's lecture, as I've already done the realistic shading before in my previous lecture. The next is cross hatching. Cross hatching means like you make lines but in cross shapes, in abstract shapes. So I will be using both hatching and cross hatching in today's lecture, in today's shading lectures. Other than that, we have realistic shading. Realistic shading includes First of all, let me explain pointillism. Pointillism is like that where we use a lots of dots to create the whole object. If we make the dots closer with each other, it becomes darker, and if we keep it on the distances, it becomes lighter. Then we have realistic shadings. Realistic shadings is a kind of a realistic part of shading, realistic part of drawing and arts, in which we use this kind of process I'm doing right now, round and round and circular motion treatment. And in this treatment we focus to achieve as much as realism in our art object, whatever we are drawing. If we treat a specific part more than others in a circular motion, it gets darker, and if we do not treat it a lot, it gets lighter. So let's get started with the drawing. First of all, I will be making a rough sketch of this sculpture that has been placed in front of me. So I will be focusing on that. I have a good light in this room that is falling on this sculpture. So in shading, I will be focusing more on the values, to create the values. So let me first just get done with the drawing part. I will not be focusing on a very realistic drawing, a perfect drawing. I will be just shaping it up. I will just be creating a shape of the sculpture, or kind of an abstract drawing, and then I will do the rest in the hatching techniques. So let's first get done with the drawing a rough sketch. I'm just taking out the proportions and just figuring out a little of this shapes. Now I'm so far so done with a rough sketch. Now I'm moving ahead to the hatching technique. As you can see that I'm using cross hatching and hatching together. As my sculpture is already in a darker color, is already in grey color, so I will not be leaving any single part white. I will be keeping only highlighted parts where you can see there is a light falling directly on the object, so I will just only be leaving those parts white. Rest of the whole object will be done in shading, in hatching or cross hatching technique. So like after getting done with this area, I will be focusing on eye sockets. I think you guys will have gotten an idea by now that in hatching, this does not need to be very perfect. You can go in any way you want, but it should be hatching, because this is basically the requirement of this kind of art. And after like this part, you will be giving it more touches, like we will be redoing these areas. But first we need to give the first layer, a first shape up. We need to shape up first. Then we will be moving to other areas later on. you can see that I'm not doing the perfection, I'm not focusing on the perfection. All I'm focusing on is the values of this subject. Values are darks and lights, the shadows. Shadows appears when there is a light. So the light is falling on the subject, there are a lot of shadows in it. Now there are the different kinds of shadows that I need to focus on. Darker, lighter, middle tone. These all are considered as values of the art. It's okay if by doing different hatching and by making lots of lines, the lines gets disappear and all of the shadows gets merged. It's totally okay. You can use different kind of pencils, you can even do it with the pointer. Basically I love to do it with the pointer, but for the purpose to let you know and to tell you about the kind of shading pencils we have, I choose to do it with pencil. But the more preferable thing is that to do it with pointed pen, because it will not be like sharpening down, your lead will not be sharpening down, it will remain pointed from the very beginning to the end. And it has very thin lines, so you will enjoy the hatching process more than the pencil, and the results are more good in hatching if you use pointer in it. As far as my subject is concerned, it's darker, as I have already mentioned it, so I'll be switching to a darker pencil now to give it more touches. The beauty of hatching is that you let the lines visible and you keep them visible throughout the end. If you merge them, as much as this part is concerned, I'm almost done. It's not like all completed by now, but I will not be doing it more with the pencil because it's totally a quick sketch, a quick study and a rough sketch. If I would be doing it with pointer, I will definitely complete it and show you the end results, but it's not completed yet. But I will not be touching it furthermore, because if I will do the more shadings, the lines will get totally merged down. So the one thing I wanted to teach you in this lesson was about the shadings, about the shading pencils we use in our drawings. In our next lecture, I will try to do it with the pointer, to show you the pointillism or the pointer hatching, so that you can easily see the difference of the medium. When we switch to different mediums, how much results can differ from each other. So that's all for today. See you in the next lecture. Thank you.